So a couple of weeks ago, I got back from 5 weeks in Europe. I went to Greece and Italy. It was amazing. It was the first holiday I'd been on in ages. And needless to say, I'm not enjoying being back in Melbourne winter. So I've been looking for ways that I can reconnect to how I was feeling and the experiences that I had on my holiday. And what better way to do that than via fragrance? So I've chosen some fragrances that remind me of the places that I visited. And I think you'll enjoy this if you're also missing Europe, if you're hating Melbourne winter, or you're just having some Euro summer FOMO. So I want to start with Greece. My main olfactory memory of Greece is this beautiful blooming jasmine that is everywhere. It was everywhere I went, on the mainland, on the islands. And it's this particular variety of star jasmine that is super heady. It's quite honeyed. It's a little bit green. And so I went around the shop trying to find the most similar jasmine. And to me, it is The Fox and the Flower Bed by Imaginary Authors. This is a beautiful, heady, complex jasmine with a frankincense accord in it as well. If you like jasmine, you'll love this. Then if you know me, you know there was no way I was going to Greece without visiting every single historical site, ancient ruin and museum. And my favorites were actually in Crete. If you haven't been there, I really recommend it. And so the fragrance that I've chosen for Crete is Silphium. Now, Silphium is actually inspired by a plant that the ancient Greeks and Romans loved so much they harvested it to extinction. But this fragrance is a lot more than just that. It contains cinnamon, clove, which you will see in Cretan cooking. I actually think they have the best cuisine in the world. I had the best meal of my life there. Then also it's got ancient resins like frankincense and myrrh. And those notes always give me that same tingle down the spine, goosebumpy feeling that you get when you're standing in front of something really, really old and you imagine what it would have been like to be there thousands of years earlier. Now let's go to Italy. So I was lucky enough to be able to get a boat from Napoli to Capri, where Carthusia is. For Napoli and Capri, I've chosen Legea La Sarina. This is a fragrance that has a kind of vintage feel about it. It's spicy, it's ambery, it's tobacco-y. And for me, this really captures the chaos, the vibrance, and the history of Napoli. It was one of my favorite places that I went. But also importantly, on the front of the Carthusia bottles, you've got this siren on it. And the mythological founder of Napoli is Parthenope, who is a siren. I went to an exhibition at the museum dedicated to Parthenope, and I've become obsessed with her ever since. So I think Legea La Sarina is the perfect fragrance to transport you there. Lastly, I went to 2 different Capuchin catacombs in Italy, one in Palermo and one in Rome. The one in Palermo is actually really scary. I love gothic spooky stuff, but I legit ran out of there. The one in Rome is a little bit easier to deal with as it's skeletons. There's no skin involved. And they're arranged in this kind of Baroque grotto style that is really fascinating and beautiful. And so I've chosen Ectoplasma by Heretic to remind me of them. Ectoplasma is a really esoteric, hard to grasp, wispy musk. And I feel like it really encapsulates that feeling of being in a catacomb where you kind of feel like you've got cobwebs on you, the air feels heavier, and you're forced to really contemplate death. So I hope that they were interesting to you, and I'd love to know where you've been and fragrances that you associate with those places. Comment below, and maybe we can even come up with some options for you.